Restaurant Unstoppable. What the most successful restaurateurs know that you don't. And with excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, founder and co-owner of Fixins, Clyde Tiger. My man Clyde, are you feeling unstoppable today?
Definitely feeling unstoppable. That was a hype pregame we just went through, and I am ready to go,
dude,
man. I'm glad to be here.
Dude, I'm pumped to be here. Over a year now, it's been when you first reached out to me. You came on my radar. I've been following you. You've been having great success, and it's kind of unreal that we're finally sitting here across the table.
It is. I'm a little starstruck. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, I listened to this guy for a couple of years. I mean, since we started this thing, like I told you when we, first connected, and it's just like, it's cool, man. I'm super thankful for everything you do for the restaurant industry, and just all the tidbits and gems you share with people like me that are trying to grow and trying to build a brand. So thank you for your time and being here and making this trip up here to middle of nowhere, Florida, good old Port St. Lucie here on the Treasure Coast. But we're here and we're doing what we do.
I'm happy to be here. It's my pleasure, and it's an honor to serve. So thank you for bringing me out here. I'm happy to be here. I cannot wait to dive into your story, but let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with a success quote or mantra. What do you got for us?
My go-to is "Do not stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done" by none other than David Goggins.
Dude, do not stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. That is a very unstoppable way to start this podcast.
That's how we roll.
How does that resonate with you?
Because I don't know. I just heard it and I latched onto it. Anybody that doesn't know about Dave Goggins, I encourage you to go listen to his listen to him on a podcast, YouTube. You can find him pretty much anywhere. Just a great backstory. Guy comes from nothing and just changes his life, changes his mindset, and just grinds it out day in and day out. And that's just kind of how we live and how we do things here at Fixins. Because it all did start from nothing for us. In 2014 from a Facebook post, and it's been a lot of long nights and early mornings, and we've been blessed. Blessed beyond our wildest dreams at sometimes. So we don't stop when we're tired, and we're far from done. So we're just going to keep rolling no matter what.
I love that, dude. I love that, and I can't help but think of, I can't remember who the name's escaping me, but a past guest in the show said that it's not enough to do enough. You have to add a little something at the end that's beyond enough to really get to the point where you're growing. So whatever it is to get through the day, that's enough. Okay, the day is over. Growth comes from that little bit of extra, the gas that's in the tank, but not the actual liquid gas, the fuel, when you're on fumes, right? To push a little bit further, to do that one little extra thing that's working on your business to take your business to the next level, whether it's automating or working on a relationship or whatever it is, you have to do just that little bit extra till the job's completely done. But add that extra thing on to the end of your day to really round off the potential, right?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree, 110%. I mean, it's just doing what others are unwilling to do.
I love it.
A lot of people just settle, and it's good enough, and we're doing okay, and it's just it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough, and I'm a big motivational guy. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers. Eric Thomas, he talks about, what's your why, and that's what gets me going on like I said, a lot of long nights and early mornings. I'm a father of 5. I run this business, myself and my wife, who's the other co-owner, Chelsea Tiger. And, it's just nonstop. We laugh about it. It's organized chaos on a daily basis.
Is that your wife right behind you?
Let's see.
You and your wife?
Let's see.
Or is that somebody else?
No. She's a fighter, actually. That's Jillian Roberts right here from the Treasure Coast. My wife is right up there. The picture of the 3 ladies. She is the one in the blue dress with the short blonde hair.
Beautiful. We'll grab a photo of that before we leave.
Please do.
The credit where it's due. So
she's the brains of the operation.
You're talking about finding your why, right? Finding your why. Yeah. When did you find your why?
Oh, wow. Man, my story's kind of different. I was in general construction for about 12 years, from early 20s to early 30s. From early, about 21, 22 to 30, I put on a lot of weight, didn't take care of myself, eating unhealthy, and just in the construction industry, and just not taking care of myself. Found myself in some adversity in my life. I was going through a divorce and just a lot of bad life choices and stuff like that. And found myself overweight and wondered how I got there, and decided enough was enough. So I started eating right, changing my way of living, learned about portion control and the metabolic side of food and stuff like that. Read a couple books. This is when the internet was kind of getting heavy and there's a lot of information source out there. So I kind of went to that and ended up losing about 60 pounds.
Wow.
I was about 270 pounds. I got down to 210 at my lightest weight.
But you're big, dude. What are you, 6'3", 6'2"?
6'4", 6'4",
Yeah.
6'4", yeah. And lost all the weight, and then still in the construction industry, trying to find my way, and started helping my buddy lose weight. He ended up losing like 80 pounds, and I just have this thing. I just love people. I love to help people. I love to be of service to people, and everyone's like, hey, you should be a trainer. Look what you did. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of sitting in a job trailer. I'm tired of doing this. I want to be of service. I love to do what's on my heart, and love to feel full that way. That's my big payday for me. And launched out on this career of personal training, and left my construction career of 12 to 15 years, and got super broke. Like I said, I was going through divorce, tough emotional, spiritual, and financial time for me, and found myself just trying to make ends meet. And as a personal trainer and rolling chains and on food stamps at like 30, I was probably around about 35 years old, trying to put it all together, wondering how I was going to take care of my 3 kids that I had at the time, and put up a post on Facebook because I was living on such a tight budget. I only had enough money to drive my car across town one time a day, so I would sit inside Starbucks and use their free Wi-Fi and drink coffee refills because they were like 40 cents, 45 cents. And I was a personal trainer, and put a post up about cooking food for people. And 2 turned into 4 and turned into 6. And a couple of people had faith in me. And I went to Walmart and bought a bunch of Ziploc containers. They're like, bring food to my house. Will you cook it for me? And I'm like, what? Is this a thing? Started off in my kitchen in my house in Jensen Beach. And, along that way, I like I said, I was, spiritually bankrupt as well as financially bankrupt at the time. Found God along the way. And my life has never been the same since.
So it sounds like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like for you, the why is in service to others and helping other people achieve what you achieved.
Yeah.
Physical health. Yeah. And emotional. Probably even more than that.
My why is kind of like multi-layered. My family, first and foremost. My 5 beautiful children, my wife, my staff that depends on me. We just come from nothing, man. It's an emotional space for me. As you can see, I get a little choked up anytime I talk about it because I come from nothing.
It inspires me, man.
Yeah, from nothing to nothing. And I don't even know how I got to the place that I am today. So we just we're super thankful, and that's my why. And I try to give back. As I mentioned previous to this, I got a commitment that I make weekly at the Boys and Girls Club here in St. Lucie County. I do some work in the not-for-profit space. I sit on the board of the Albert Wilson Foundation, who works with foster children and marginalized kids, at-risk youth, things of that nature. So we do a lot of outreach in that space, and that's where my heart's at. I do this business thing, and I love it, and I love to be of service and help people eat healthy and provide healthy meal options. But I also use my platform to reach others and empower other people and expose them to stuff outside of St. Lucie County and just worldly in general. So,
what kind of things do you like to expose people to?
Oh, just everything. Just life, just a different life, like what it looks like. For anybody that's from a small town, and just you kind of, I grew up in a small community, I guess, per se. My father was Seminole. My dad's Native American. He's since passed on, but grew up down in Hollywood on a reservation, Native American.
Hollywood,
Florida.
Yep.
Hollywood, Florida, yeah. My dad's Seminole. And grew up, and it's a very small community. Even though it's in the city, it's just very close-knit. And it almost, I guess my experience of small town and just that type of mindset is like, you never leave your 5x5 radius, your 5 mile by 5 mile radius. That's the end of the earth for you. Yeah. Right. So I try to, expose people to, there's so much more if you just go out there and chase it and chase your dream and believe and trust what God put on your heart. Because just like me, like if I never would have put up that post in 2014, or if I never would have left that construction job to follow my heart and serve people, like me and you would be having,
took the initiative to get right and healthy, right?
Yeah. Me and you never be having this conversation.
Yeah. So let's go back to where you started.
Sorry, I went down the wormhole
beautiful.
a little bit on you.
We got the big picture, and I love it. But I want to pull some nuggets out because I feel like something I'm trying to be better about, honestly, is physical health. And it's where were you back when you were at your worst? You said you had made a lot of bad life decisions.
Oh,
paint that picture. Paint that picture of the worst of the worst. And just, and I know it's personal.
I'm an open book. I mean,
it.
This is my life, and this is I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and without my story. And my story was, more or less kind of not a. Let's see. Let's see how I say this. I wasn't a street kid per se, but I took a lot of wrong choices. I always had excuses. It was because my dad wasn't in the home. It was because of this. It was because my mom, blah, 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 or whatever the case may be. I always had excuses and just made wrong choices. Like I always say, I joke around. I've had the privilege to work around some professional athletes through my business career now. And, they're always like, oh, did you play ball? Did you play this? I'm like, no, I chose the other way. If I knew I was going to be 6'4", 225, I would have kept playing ball, but I didn't, because I thought the stuff on the street was cool. Mm-hmm. And I went I went down a really dark, rough road that was due to my own choices. And I had to swallow that pill. Finally, probably about 31, 32 years old, that I figured like I created this. It wasn't nobody else's fault. Yeah. I made these choices. I went down this direction, and all this adversity that came my way was self-inflicted to some extent. So 18 to 22, just wild. Wild is, anybody, you can find me on social media. I'd be more than happy to tell you the candid. We're on a timeline here as far as the podcast is concerned, but just made a lot of bad choices. Spent some time on the other side of the fence, not very long, but long enough for me to realize that I didn't want to go into places like that ever again. Mm-hmm. Ended up getting married, got married to a great lady, totally wrecked that marriage. Dishonesty, unfaithfulness. I was drinking, partying, hanging out, just knucklehead mentality. I started making a good bit of money in the construction industry and proceeded to wreck my life because that's what I do. Yeah. Without some guidance and without some God in my life, and found myself 31 years old, overweight, like I mentioned, standing inside an empty house that I created, 2 children, one on the way. And I stood out in an empty house and just, I broke down and cried and just asked God not to let me die.
So thank you for getting into that. I know it's not easy to talk about like the past, the difficult
it's part of my story. I wouldn't be who I am today without that story. So I'm cool with sharing it,
But what I'm curious about now is like what the trigger was, and that whatever triggered you to say, I've got to change. What was it? And then what immediately after did you start doing that sets you on this path of growth?
Well, so I found myself in that empty house. She was moving. I knew she was moving, but it just all hit me, kind of moment of clarity type thing. I realized that I was going to die. There was no other, my dad died at 59 years old from alcoholism. I was headed down the same path without a doubt in my mind. There was no doubt. It was clear as day.
How much were you drinking?
A lot.
What's a lot?
A lot. At minimum, a liter of Crown a night.
Okay.
Solo.
Okay.
Yeah. Crown and ginger, and people are like, there's no ginger.
Lot's relative. It's
Yeah.
weird. So I just tried to, I know I'm not trying to put you on the.
It's cool, man.
But I want to paint that picture.
No, I'm super open. You know what I mean? And this is part of my story. Mm-hmm. Just, again, getting in that scene, money, hanging out, making too much money in the bars. And that's just a guy like me. That's what happens. You know what I mean? And, had that moment of clarity and, made a couple phone calls with some people I know, they connected me with some other people. And
what kind of people were you being connected with?
Just people to guide me spiritually. Okay. Help me to find my way.
Okay.
A design for living, for me that I needed.
What do you mean a design for living?
Just say I got some guidance.
Okay.
There were some crucial steps to take to help me find my way in life.
Can you get into those steps?
I prefer not to, just on a podcast. But if someone wants to contact me directly, I'm more than happy to talk about it. It's just not something just through some personal anonymity, things like that.
No, I feel you. But if somebody who's listening to this, right? Mm-hmm. They're at that point where you were when you realized that you gotta take a pivot, you gotta move in a new direction. Now you're giving them guidance. Mm-hmm. Give that person guidance like the guidance you got.
Oh my gosh. Like I said, it was a journey. I didn't know. I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to die. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I got connected with some people and a mentor and a gentleman by the name of Mel. Like, help me find my way to God. So
first step, get a guide. Get a guide. Find somebody.
Yeah, you're not going to go to Antarctica and just be like, hey, I'm setting out with my book bag and I'm going to go check it out. You got to have a guide. Or you're going to die.
Yeah.
So I got to get a guide on this journey of life, and that's what I found.
And what first thing did you change about your lifestyle, the way you live, that you think had the biggest impact?
Stop using drugs and alcohol.
Okay. And what next?
I just started seeking God.
Okay. And anything else beyond that?
Just that was the catalyst, definitely. And then then it became to personal health and well-being. My mind, body, and spirit. how am I living? What am I doing? Am I showing up? Am I being consistent? Am I a man of my word? Am I being honest? Am I just being thorough in all that I do? Am I being a good father? You know, because that was part of my thing when I broke down in my house at 31 years old. I just said I just don't want to die. I want to be there for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my why of why. Like, end of the day, I will do whatever it takes to provide for my children. I don't care what it is. This could all shut down tomorrow, and I'd be out there the next day like looking for a job because I'm not going to let my kids go through.
What held you accountable to this new path?
Because somewhere deep down inside, I always knew I was better. I always knew. I just didn't listen because, you know, I had a lot of trials and tribulations throughout my life where I told I wasn't going to be nothing. I was this, you know, as I mentioned previously before the podcast started, you know, I got kicked out of the 11th grade of high school, had a GED.
Yeah.
I was told you're never going to amount to nothing. You don't have a degree. We can't hire you. You've got some criminal stuff on your record, and you know, pretty much like
you start to believe that shit.
Oh, you believe it.
Yeah.
With 110%.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And that's where, so for me, like I mentioned, guys like Eric Thomas, who I had the pleasure to meet one time in passing through business, and you know, those people, I reprogrammed my mind because my mind was just bad. Like I believed everything they told me, and finally I was just like, just F that.
Yeah.
Like that ain't it, bro. Like I'm not living that.
I think a lot of, sorry, keep going.
No. And you know, I'm not living that way, and we're going to change it, and we're going to grind. And I try to keep people like that around me now. Like if you're just settling for C class and this is good enough and this is what we're going to do today and the bare minimum, like I'm not really interested, bro.
Yeah. And I think that is part of the big step is surrounding yourself with the people who tell you you can, and who you're the, I mean, it's probably over you saying, but you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. But there's a lot of truth to that. You do start to acclimate to those people that you surround yourself with. That becomes the new normal, the new standard. When you're traveling around with a bunch of schmucks who are drinking and doing drugs all the time, like that becomes, you start to compare yourself to that. You're like, well, I'm not as bad as that guy.
Exactly.
You know? And like,
that's facts.
But if you start surrounding yourself with the people who are committed to their family, to their career, to themselves, to wellness, then that becomes your,
you realize what a real
anchor,
degenerate you are.
Yeah, right. So to surround yourself with the right people, I think, is a huge crucial step. And to, obviously, too, is just to get really honest with yourself, which it sounds like you were.
Yeah.
And don't listen to that internal voice. I mean, I resonate with your story.
Yeah.
I was a commercial pilot, and I got off that path, and I had to start over at the age of 27. I wasn't further as long as you were.
Yeah.
But I also remember being younger, being told like I wasn't your traditional student. I'm not a standard student.
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? And you come through the system that tells you can't be things, or you're not going to do things, or you're not cut out for certain things. You believe that shit, and then you limit yourself because you don't think you're able, you don't think you're capable, or it's not in you. Put that shit to sleep. You know?
Well, and it's tough because I still battle self-esteem issues today. You know, I walk into facilities and places that by worldly standards, right? What the world says, this checkbox system that we live in today, there's no way I should be where I'm at. There's no way. And we haven't got that far kind of in our discussion yet, but there's places and people I do business with that I shouldn't even see ever. But by finding God and following this path and being thorough and honest and showing up and doing the next right thing, like God had a different plan for me, and no one will ever change my mind on that. You know what I mean? I stand true in my faith in God, and it's all God, and it's all glory to Him, and you know that's why I continue to serve and do what I do, because like before standing in that empty house at 31 years old, and I said, God, please don't let me die. It was a shit show before then. Yeah. In my life, it was a little rough kind of finding my way, because when you wreck your life for like 13, 14 years, like it takes a little bit of cleaning up. You can't be like, I burned the house down. Let's get this broom and dustpan and sweep it up real quick. We'll get it built back up tomorrow. That doesn't work like that. And a lot of people wreck their lives or have trials and tribulations, and it's like, oh, well, I've been doing good for like 2 weeks, or like it's been like a couple months. Like, bro, you wrecked your life for like 10 years. What do you mean?
And that's what I was looking to get into next. Is like when you made this choice, when you started surrounding yourself with the right people, and you started making different life decisions, how long did it take for you to start seeing progress, to start seeing that you're moving, you're making moves, and it doesn't happen overnight? How long did it take?
Oh man, I had people around me that saw it before I saw it, because I couldn't see it, because I'm like head down, like what did I get myself into? You know, I'm 30 something years old, you know, renting a room, barely have enough money to feed my 3 kids. You know, I used to pick my kids up, and they don't see this part of the story of the grind, you know, picking my kids up and 30 something years old, you know, almost 35 years old with $20. So I take them to the McDonald's drive-thru, and I used to buy them a 20-piece nugget, a large fry, and 3 juice boxes, and go take them to the park because I couldn't afford to buy them each individual Happy Meal. Right? They don't see that. You know, they don't see the early mornings, the roll and change, waiting for some check to come through or something to work, or me selling all my construction tools and selling my motorcycle just so I could survive. You know, they don't see that. You know, oh, man, it's cool. Look what you do, man. It's super awesome. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't see this. You're not willing to do that.
And this is after you made the decision.
Decision to get my life together. Yeah. Before
We started having priorities, though.
Yeah, this is like 5 years into changing. You know, I put down the drugs and alcohol and all that stuff. I'm 5 years in, and I'm like trying to get my mom to still co-sign a car for me, and she's like, "No way, you're a degenerate still." You know what I mean? I'm like, "What am I doing?"
Well, the reason why I'm trying to bring this out is not to exploit you, but just mostly just because people, I think they don't have the patience to see things through. And then if you're going to make a change in your life, you can't expect to see the results of your efforts after a month of making right decisions.
Oh, no.
It takes years of constant, gentle pressure, moving in the right direction. Yeah. That pressure of just, it compounds over time, but you have to have the endurance. You have to know that it's not going to happen overnight. When did you really start to see the benefit and reap the benefit of your effort of getting right?
Oh, man. Man, there's so many, you know, and like that's another soft spot for me. You know what I mean? Like, just thinking about it, like where I'm winning is watching my daughter pick up her honor roll, where it's watching my son hit a baseball, you know, where it's, you know, just showing up and being there and being present for my kids. You know, when I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there, because I had a dad that said he was coming, he wouldn't come. You know, showing up for the little stuff and the big stuff. That's the win for me. You know, seeing other people come up, seeing that people come from nothing and, you know, buy a house or get a car or, you know, this stuff from the bottom of the bottom. That's what I love. You know, I love the underdog. I want to hang with the underdog. And, you know, we kind of touched on a little bit earlier about, you know, the people we run with when we're in that lifestyle. Like, I like the roughnecks. I like the degenerates. That's my people.
Me too. That's why I love the restaurant industry.
You know, and I love that space. And, you know, I'm all about helping people win. You know, if you're down to grind, if you're not down to grind, I can't help you.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to put in the work. And like, that's where it falls short. Like, everybody wants to show the nice, the this, the, you know, just like I talked about you, how you travel around in your car and you started this thing on a whim and all that. Like, not a lot of people are willing to do that. But they, you know, like me, I'm like, man, I was starstruck over this guy's cool. I've been listening to him for years. Like, man, like I get to meet him in person. Like, this is a gift for me.
Thank you, man.
You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, you're talking to a guy who was sitting in a Starbucks 7 years ago, rolling change and on food stamps, and just put up a post about cooking food for people.
I get it, man.
And here we are. So I'm like, yo, I'm winning. This is a win. This is one of the wins for me. So there's different levels to it, but I try to be. My mentor has told me, you know, you got to be going slow enough to see the postcards.
Yeah.
Like, the postcards are like, you get the little note or you see the sign. But if you're going too fast and rush through life, you'll miss it. So it's such these intricate pieces in networking, and that's where I get real joy.
Yeah, and I think it's important to slow down and to make note of your wins. I think sometimes, especially entrepreneurs, we have this grand vision of where we want to be. And we constantly compare ourselves to that ultimate vision of what we want. And sometimes we get beat up because we're not there. But we forget that we still have come a long way. We don't look back and say, look what I have done. I used to be there. Now I'm here. And here isn't way up there, but it's definitely better than way back there. You know, and I'm moving in the right direction. We don't celebrate the small wins. But it also sounds like for you, a lot of where things started to turn around is when, at what point did you get down to 210 pounds?
It took me about 2.5 years. So
what year is this? 2000.
So it's like so around about 20, I'd say 2012, right around there.
And it was around 2010 then that you had this epiphany.
2000. It was 2009, July of 2009. When I was sitting in an empty house.
So it sounds like when.
So it was about 2.5 years of me getting my life together, you know, remove myself from the drug and alcohol scene and partying and just wrecking my life.
Yeah, and slowly.
So and I was like, you know, you start, you stop drinking every day and like start taking care, you know, and all that stuff and all that damage. Like, I look down and I'm like, damn, I'm 270 pounds. Like, I haven't been healthy for a long time. Like, I used to be a pretty healthy dude. I used to play basketball and stuff as a younger man. And I was like, wow, what happened? You know, what happened? A great story. It's like, I was standing around with my good friend, and I'm going to call her out, Lisa Flynn. I hope she listens to this one day. Standing around with her and a group of friends. She has her arm around my waist and she goes, nice love handles.
Ooh,
and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm not fit. Like, what happened? And so I just started going to the gym, you know, and just started working on it. And it was not easy. I couldn't even run like a quarter mile, and I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? And slowly but surely, it took me about a year and a half, and I lost that 60 pounds. I got down to about 208. Right now I'm about 225. I went through like I lost all the weight, then put some muscle on, and it's just been like that for me now. Now it's a part of my lifestyle, and that's why I kind of resonate with Dave Goggins, because like he lost a bunch of weight. It's part of his backstory, and he stays consistent. It's consistency, and you touched on is like consistency beats everything. I don't care where you come from, rich, not rich, family, love, no love, whatever. If you stay consistent, like nothing beats consistency. Because eventually that person that has money, or that person that's entitled or whatever, they're just not going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're just not built like that. So like, you won't outwork me. I don't care where you come from, how much money you got, or whatever thing you got. Like, that's great, and I'm proud of you. And I'm not trying to take what you have and trying to build my own thing, but just know, like, I'm not going to allow you to outwork me.
But the reason why I'm curious about like when you got to this point of your physical fitness, because it sounds like people started to notice what you achieved, then you started helping other people achieve what you achieve, and it sounds like this is where you really started to connect with your why, and you found purpose. You found like I'm good at this. People are recognizing what I've achieved for myself, and I can help other people get here too. And I think it's when we find out, like when we get to that point where we can help other people get what we have, it's like that's like your self-actualization, like your purpose in life, right? Am I I don't want to write your story. But
no, I think you're right. I think you're just articulating it better than, I guess for me, like it just came, like I helped my buddy John lose the weight. And then, I got into the personal training industry. And again, it was tough to make ends meet. You know what I mean? I was like, man, I didn't start off like, oh, I'm going to be this meal prep guru and this is going to be great. It's a great business model. Like I was like, I'm broke. I'm living on about $100 a week in food. I'm portioning all my food. What can I do? I'm going to offer to cook for people. Yeah. It's a good little side hustle. I'm going to charge them $150 for 10 meals. This is going to be great. I could do it and I could still personal train on the side. And then it started rolling, and she was my girlfriend at the time, but my wife Chelsea, the co-owner of this company. We're in the car one day. I'm with my buddy Tim, who helped get this thing off the ground as well. Much respect and big love to my guy Tim Wilson. And we're in the car one day, and I'm personal training and cooking and burning both ends of the candle, as they say. And I just like bugged out on Tim on something stupid, like or just totally like flipped the script, like rage out, know. And she's like, "Yo." And we got home, and she's like, "Look, you need to either cook or personal train. You need to decide. What are you gonna do?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna cook." And started cooking in our house in Jensen Beach, and she was still working for corporate. She was working for FP&L, and she was an executive admin, and she used to complain because all her wardrobe would smell like food because I was cooking in the house all the time. And we just leveled up from there. My kids still laugh and tell stories. I remember we used to go to Walmart and buy all the containers off the shelves, and you'd cook all weekend, and that's But that's as they've gotten older, like they see the grind and the hustle, and they know about business. So that's a great thing. I get to share it with my kids, but that's where I turned the corner, man.
We're back, and now what I would like to start doing for the listeners is really just painting the picture of how what your vision was and how you started living intentionally to execute and get to where you are today, diving into the good, the bad, the good decisions, the bad decisions. I want to learn everything, and this is unique too. Just I think you're my second ever meal prep company I've interviewed, and I think it's important if you're in this industry that there's so many verticals. Like we're working with food, there's a lot of different opportunities, and I think it's important to show people the different ways you can take food and make a business out of food. So I don't know much about the prefix meal operation, so I'm gonna be super curious here. So get into it.
Oh man, so like I said, put up a post, started cooking for people, and learned about meal prep.
Yeah.
I'm not formally trained in culinary or anything like that. I just knew, how to portion meals and how to eat healthy, and that's what I kind of rolled into. I'm not gonna lie. I went to the good old resource of Pinterest, to create some variety, and just started tweaking recipes.
Yeah.
And built from there. Started off and.
But you had a unique skill. You weren't cooking. You're cooking for, I'm sure, to make things taste good. But you were also combining that with, I'm cooking to help people gain weight, muscle, and lose fat. Yeah. So you had a niche, an intention, like a specific way of cooking.
Yeah. That's, and like I said, when I said we used to I would get recipes and just tweak them.
Yeah.
Like I would take all the bad stuff out of recipes and they're still equally flavorful. It's just you're just removing some of the bad components, cutting down the fat, the salt content, things of that nature. Especially the saturated fats and the carbohydrates and stuff in excess, again, will put on unneeded calorie. And I know there's a lot of different, I'm not trying to get into the whole dietary, eat this diet and this is what you're going to lose. And I know there's tons of stuff out there in the market, and I'm not trying to split hairs with anybody, but there is something to be said about balanced nutrition, and that's where I've always kind of stood in my space of what we do. We just started developing menu options, variety, a lot of cross utilization. So what we developed here at Fixins was an 8-week rotating menu. And what that means over that 8-week cycle, that on every delivery day, which occurs twice a week, we deliver to, residences or offices directly to their doorstep twice a week. Insulated cooler bag with an ice pack. Everything's prepared fresh. Our menu is 100% gluten-free. That's something we've always done from the start. Reduced sodium, low glycemic, all that type of stuff that falls under the healthy outline, of a healthy meal portion. But what we do that's kind of unique is that every delivery day, there's a completely different menu to pick from.
Okay.
We, over that 8-week cycle, we offer about 250 different meal options. And for anybody that's in the food service industry, picture a menu with 250 options on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And different serving sizes as well. We do 3 different serving sizes. We got a keto menu, a plant-based menu. We do a specialty prep, and we do something that's pretty exclusive as an elite prep, which we got into the professional athlete space. Do a lot of work with that. We do some customizations and things like that. So that's a very niche community for us that we work with, and that's been a blessing. A lot of cool stuff, met a lot of cool people through that. But so we just want to offer affordable, healthy meals to people. That's always been our kind of outline and our intention. We just we handle all the logistics here in house because I've tried the shipping third party option. I just don't think they take care of our product like we take care of our product. And I think it's great in growth. And
when you say product, you're talking about the food, but you're also talking about the experience, the friendliness, the hey, John, how are you today?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and a lot of people have the same route, and they develop relationships with their route and their people on their route. So it's very familiar. Also, in the meal prep industry, and a lot of people don't realize is like, I don't have the option to come over to your table and be like, hey, John, how you liking that food? Is that good? Oh, no, I don't care for that. Let me take it back to the kitchen and let me make you a fresh dish. You know what? I'm going to comp you a dessert too, since you had a little issue, and appreciate you coming. But you get to talk them up. Like me, the food shows up, and if a third party vendor or someone delivered, the box is cracked, the food's turned upside down, I can't fix it, and they got to wait at least 24 hours before I can get them fresh food out. So it's like, it's very crucial in how we present everything, how it looks in the box, how it tastes. Like, we got to hit it. Yeah. We got to hit it spot on. We don't get like a do-over or real quick, let me fix this, or, it's a little different. Especially when a lot of the, a very large percentage of the orders are all placed online. So there's not a lot of there's client interaction, but not your, traditional client interaction that you would see in a traditional restaurant setting. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of nuances that were new to me when I first started, and we've just kind of crawled, fell down, stumbled, and got to where we're at today, 7 years of business.
So how much has the business evolved since the beginning, as far as the offering, I know you started in your apartment or your house, whatever it was. I know that's probably wasn't legal.
Definitely not legal. That is not legal.
So, but at the same time, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a consultant. I'm not an expert. Like, I don't know what kind of disclaimer I need to put in here. But there's a part of me that feels like I encourage people to kind of break the rules a little to get started, because that's how you got to do what you got to do to get started. And once you get to the point where you can do it right, do it right. But if you can't, if doing it right is out of your reach, do what you got to do to get to that point. And if that means cooking out of your apartment and getting paid under the table from a couple of friends, then do that. Yeah. But just know that that runway is short, and do what you got to do to get right. But what point did you start? When did you start to go from just, cooking for friends to I have clients and I maybe have to legitimize the operation? How long did it get to that point?
Well, it took me like, I don't know. I was cooking out of the house maybe 3 months tops. I always knew, like I spent a little time around food service, as a younger man, worked in some restaurants, things of that nature. So I knew what I was doing wasn't 100% legit. It doesn't fall under the cottage law because of the amount of protein you put in a serving. You're serving, it's all in a ratio
What's
thing.
the cottage law?
The cottage law is where you can do like baked goods, things like that. And again, I don't know specifics per state, but every state varies on the percentage of protein you have in a serving that you're selling. That what allows you to fall under the cottage law. So being that we're serving, 8 ounces of protein, which is
because it's the protein that can get people sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's not handled correctly, things of that nature, that's where your foodborne illness can occur from bacteria, things of that nature. So things like that. So I knew that, and I'm like, I'm going to try it out, see how this thing is rolling good now. It's like, it's time to get a place.
Yeah. So what do we need to know? What did you not consider early on? If you're doing it all over again, tell us what you did and what you would have done differently.
Oh my God. How much time we got? There's so much. There's so and there's not like a lot of like, oh, did that totally wrong. Like I said, I wasn't formally trained. I didn't know food lost 30% when you cooked it. I would buy 10 pounds of chicken, go to plate up 10 pounds of chicken and be like, hey, I'm short.
Yeah.
And I'm at Walmart buying more chicken at 2 a.m. while I'm packing food. Like, oops, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Things of that nature, just to be 100% candid. And then just logistically, do not, delivering early in the morning is not the way because you can't get people to come to work.
Yeah.
If the delivery route leaves at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., you're hard pressed to get people to show up to run your delivery route. You're better off doing deliveries in the afternoon or the evening. You know what I mean?
How long did it take you to figure that out?
Oh gosh, I would say that it's probably at least a year or so, a year to 2 years. You know what I mean? I was like, oh gosh, this is a nightmare.
So get it into the logistics. The point where you think that you started to figure stuff out as like a legitimate meal prep company where you found some rhythm, and you found some streamlinedness.
Yeah.
Like, what did that look like? Take us through the user experience and then maybe the back end operational logistics of how you executed.
So, what we do, just the flow of it, how we take orders. We used to do everything manually over the phone. Used to be spreadsheets. Mm-hmm. Thing like that, and it gets cumbersome, because you're manually entering data, so you have the human error factor. Mm-hmm. Something didn't get measured right, something did this, they didn't portion it, correctly. So being very calculated in our ordering and that process, which now this took years, you know what I mean, and people didn't know, I think at times, is like how small we were, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, they were almost like, what do you mean? You don't, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, we're just growing and, kind of learn as you go. And so different stuffs like that, as far as just the production side of food and the process of how we prepare food, the timeline, the shelf life. So we run on a very tight window. So, everything comes out on like a 60-40 split. So, our Sunday delivery is the heavy side of our delivery schedule, right? So if you get, if you're getting 10 meals a week, you're getting 6 on Monday, 4 on Wednesday, right? So in between, if you're doing 60% of 3,000 meals, you're preparing that food from Friday and putting it in a box Saturday and delivering it Sunday. Mm. So we're doing the equivalent of a restaurant's week of orders in about 2.5 days.
Well, you didn't start there. I mean, that's where you are now.
Yeah. That's where we didn't start there. But we started off, but again, it's all relative.
Yeah.
We were still delivering on that same schedule. So it was always having the people in place and moving like the linear process of what we do. Because everything gets prepared, gets boxed, and goes out. We don't have that secular flow of a restaurant. You know what I mean? So it's very calculated how we produce stuff, what's ready, shelf life, and all that stuff that's calculated. So it is for the end consumer, so the experience is enjoyable as possible and the food stays fresh. Mm-hmm. And that's why we do the 2 deliveries a week. So there's always a fresh menu being prepared, and the food is being rotated correctly as according to shelf life of a fresh product, because we don't put any preservatives or anything like that. So that's stuff we had to learn. You know what I mean? You can't mix certain stuff, or stuff's got to be prepared on this day, not this day, because of the shelf life. You know, your salads and stuff have got to be done kind of, I don't want to say last minute, but one of the last things you pack in box, because it's green, it's leaves. And again, we hold everything here at, 40 to 42, our coolers, just to keep it a little bit colder than, as cold as possible for as long as possible. And then once we put it in a bag, it's ice packed. It's in an insulated cooler bag inside of another insulated cooler bag, and it's delivered directly. And we have a limit on our delivery routes to hold food temperature so it doesn't exceed. But again, you get it to a customer, they let it sit outside. So we have to make sure we're covering all those bases on our end for food quality, because it's going to affect the flavor on the back end. So it's just putting people in place. Our team, I couldn't do anything we do without our team. I've had a great team of people around me. I've just had great people along the way that help us build. Yeah. Some people have come and went on to bigger and better things, but at our core value, it's just been a very much a learning process, and a lot of people put in a lot of input and little stuff we still do today. I had some people tell me, I can't do that. It's too much. You know what I mean? And they're no longer here either. So, for whatever reason, but
let's go back to,
sorry.
No, you're doing great, man. But I really want to pick up some details about how you evolved as a business. So you started just cooking for people that you knew, right?
That's correct.
And then from there, when did you start to get to the point where you're getting clients that you don't know? How long did it get to that point where you're now you're getting organic leads, or how were you getting these leads? Was it word of mouth, or was it marketing?
So, everything we created was from a Facebook post, like I said, in 2014. We've never paid for any really large marketing campaigns. It's all been through social media. So anybody that's out there starting a business, food business or whatever, utilize social media. It's your greatest friend. And I didn't even know I was doing this till I heard somewhere else, and somebody's like, "Oh, that's what you did." I used all the Facebook friends, spread it that way. Friend of a friend, tell this, and your clients are your best advertisement. If your food's good and you do a good job, they're going to tell somebody else. They'll tell 3 people. You do bad, they're going to tell 10. That holds true.
Yep.
And kind of not burnt up, but utilize my Facebook resources, and then kind of grew out from there. And it just grew organically. We created a website, and in our, we are a smaller area. We're a population about 300,000 here in Port St. Lucie. So as far as a Google listing and stuff like that, we never paid for any SEO or nothing. We were just kind of new in the meal prep game. Yeah. Like I said, we've been in it.
Going back, this is 2014.
Yes, right? 2014. So the meal prep industry was still kind of on the growth. There's a couple companies here in the state of Florida that have been open maybe 2 or 3 years longer than me. Yeah. They have a different model. They do a great job as well. But I was talking to somebody the other day, oh, you're like an OG of the meal prep game. And I'm like, yeah, because you see a lot of it nowadays. Again, you gotta do your research. What are you looking for? You got your price point shoppers, you got your quality shoppers, you got, people that support local small business. So it's really there's something for everybody out there.
Start with your end product. Who's your target market? Who are you cooking for? For you, it was athletes and fitness.
No, that the athlete thing came on about 2 years in.
Okay.
So originally it was, just busy people, trying to keep people out of the drive-through. Okay. Showing people that they could eat healthy for an affordable price point. It tastes good, and that's the biggest compliment I think I ever get from people is they're like, oh, they'll know me I got people that know me for years, right? Know what I do. To be like, hey man, I tried your food. It was really good. I'm like, thanks. We've been doing this a while. But people have this, they hear healthy and they're like, they're going to serve me chicken and broccoli, and I'm not going to like it. Mm-hmm. But they don't realize we do chicken enchilada casseroles and cheeseburger wraps and different stuff like that. And be like, oh, cheese, I thought you couldn't have cheese. No, it's all in moderation. Mm-hmm. And it's all about balanced nutrition. And, and that was always our target market is people that are working, 40 to 60 hours a week, whether it's mom, dad, the pool guy, the law enforcement or first responder, whomever it be. Because a lot of people in that space are so busy, nurses, medical, anything like that are just on the go. Other business owners that want something healthy and just get tired of eating the same old. That's why we rotate the menu, and we just try to offer healthy, convenient, well-balanced nutrition. And that's always been our target. And, we have an age group type of thing. It's typically 25 to 35 is really our niche market. But we go from 18 to 80. We feed all kinds of people. We do stuff for seniors that are kind of homebound, or people with different special needs, thing like that. So there's a lot of specialty stuff we do that other meal prep companies don't do as well. Specialty diets, things of that nature, and we do macro-based builds and just full customizations, which is something we developed, and everyone told me I was crazy. You can't do that, So
let's imagine you're sitting in my seat right now.
Yep.
It's 2015. You're a year into this, and in your seat is the most successful meal prep operation out there. What questions are you asking yourself back then?
Oh, I asked them. They wouldn't answer me.
They asked questions you're asking.
Hey, like, where do you get bags from? How do you do this? How do you process? How do you produce this much food in this timeline? Like, what's this look like for you? What's a resource, a vendor, anything? They just don't want to talk to you.
So, what information could you give that person who's listening to this right now?
Man, like,
that would be a deal, like a game changer. It's like, oh, if I just change this one little thing, or if I did this differently, like, get into that stuff.
Get your money up front. Rule number one in business, meal prep business, get your money up front.
Okay.
If I tell anybody, I talk to a lot of people that are starting off meal prep companies, and I try to be open door with a lot of people, because that was my answer when I reached out to other people in the industry. They didn't tell me nothing. Like, basically, like, figure it out, because they greed, growth, whatever. They were going to feed everybody in the state of Florida food. I don't know what it was, but it's not reality, so they didn't want to share any information. So I had to figure it out. But one thing I had to learn was get the money up front.
So how are you making sure you get the money up front?
You just tell people, because people don't understand in meal prep, you get a lot, and it's crazy. And I don't think people walk into restaurants and do this, but they definitely do it in the meal prep space. Like, hey, can I get some samples? Like, what? Like, you go to a restaurant, you just eat there and you pay for it. And if you don't like it, you don't go back. But me, I got to give you free food? Like, what? Like, no. Like, it wasn't free for me to get it here. Yeah. So that's always an oddity for me.
So how do you typically collect?
Yeah. So sorry to get back to your point, is like, so what we started doing, like, because somebody would verbally say, hey, I want food, Tiger. I want some food on Monday. No problem, man. Start cooking some food over the weekend. But Sunday they text you, hey, I'm going to pass on the delivery. I'm like, whoa. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't have no money. Like, I bought product and everything, and now they're telling me they're not going to pay me for their 6 meals they ordered. And I'm like, wait. And I'm like, no. Then I had to be like, no, you have to pay for at least what you've got. Like, I can stop the rest of your order. And most people would pay, thankfully. But I got the bad checks and all that stuff. So we went to, this is before the whole Cash App thing and all that stuff kind of came about. Again, you're talking 2014. So we started, I started taking, they said they wanted food. I'm like, good, give me cash. Or, and then we got into processing credit card. We got credit card processing was like a big thing for us initially, because like, I need your money. Like, you want, oh yeah, no problem. Here's how much you owe. They're like, I'm like, nope. There's no COD. It's pay now.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
So you would collect their credit card information over the phone.
Yeah.
Or do you have a website where they're basically? No, I'm assuming there's probably a level of automation now.
Oh yeah, that's all automated now. But back in the day, it was all manual. Like, yeah, can I take your order? And I'd enter it all in over the phone. And
so, what is, in your opinion, the best approach to streamlining that process of collecting payment and putting the order in?
Get a website.
Okay.
Get a website built. There's a lot of different meal prep company providers out there that have meal prep software. It really streamlines your process.
So what are some of these meal prep software, or is it like a WordPress plugin or something like that?
We're currently, I'll plug them, and I hope they're listening. We're currently using Sprout.
Okay.
And
what is Sprout?
Sprout is a meal prep software program. So they kind of handle all the back. It's just
so POS is to restaurants and Sprout is to virtual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of specialize in the meal prep space. We used to use but formerly we were with a Meal Track. They do a great job too. They're just some little tools and bells and whistles that they didn't offer that Sprout. So we just recently switched over to Sprout. Both great companies. We did a lot of growing with Meal Track as well.
Is Sprout something that's attainable for somebody who's starting, say, tomorrow? Or
yeah, they have different levels. And again, I don't know their whole marketing pitch. Again, my wife and co-owner, that's kind of her lane of the business. I know enough about it just to be knowledgeable, but however, like my lane today stays in pretty much in advertising, marketing, outreach, and stuff like that. So I don't want to like.
No, I understand.
I don't want to destroy like everything that that they may do, and then I'll butcher it, and it'll be like, "Yo, you gave us a terrible plug on Restaurant Unstoppable. Thanks for nothing, dude." I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Well, what point did you start implementing this technology? How did that change things?
I would say, and I'm terrible with timelines, so I apologize, everybody. If you ever want the full detail of date and accurate time, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll put you in touch with my wife. She'll give you day by day. But that's just how my mind works. But I would say, it was probably, I don't know, probably about 3 or 4 years in. Before it went automated, it was like a
2017.
Somewhere around there, and it was like, oh, we thought it would be the greatest thing ever, but all our clients were used to calling on the phone, and we used to do stuff different, so there was a change, and it was like mayhem ensued, like, how do you do this? And it was like, so anytime like you're in business and you change stuff, your clients are going to freak out. Don't worry about it. Just be consistent, walk them through it, help them out. You will grow. They'll stay with you if you got a great product. Just know, like, it doesn't matter what you change. Like, you could, we change something, we make a little tweak, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe this. I can't figure this out. And then, so through teaching and walking through it, and they're like, oh, this is great. And we got people like, this is so fluid, and we love it, and we're so glad we found you. And I'm like, you got other people ripping you apart.
Get into Sprout. So you guys use this, and I know it's not your lane.
Yeah.
But as
I
far
don't want
as
to butcher
like
it too
big
bad.
picture,
big picture.
You went from taking orders over the phone.
Yeah.
You went to Sprout immediately.
We went to Meal Trek first, then Sprout.
Okay.
But same thing, online ordering platform.
How did that impact your business? How did you become more efficient? Did your expenses go up, or were you more profitable with this?
No, our expenses came down because we're being more calculated, because we've got our orders in, we've got a cutoff time, we know how much product we need to bring in.
Fewer mistakes.
Yes, fewer mistakes. Not it's not obsolete though, because there was still a little bit of manual aspect to what we do, and again, human error comes into play. It could be a miscalculation, some math, stuff like that. So again, no fault of Meal Trek. Please let me state that. More human error than anything. Communication. I've been guilty a time or two to maybe take some orders past the cutoff point, which my staff always loves. But I work with some people that I like to get food to quickly when they ask, and I'm a strike while the iron's hot type of guy, so I'll make it happen.
Yeah, but I'm assuming when you use a tool like Sprout or the other one,
Meal Track, yeah.
These are systems and processes that somebody else created.
Yeah.
And instead of creating your own systems and processes to get to collect payment, to enter the order, to organize where it's going, and all that, you're creating something that a coder built that you would never be able to recreate with your
not unless you want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. So yes, it is affordable for small business.
Programming school and learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah.
But like it's just a system that you're plugging into your business, right?
Yeah.
And immediately it sounds like you started getting a return. Okay, going back to that original question on what are the different things that you wish people taught you how to collect payment? What else?
Yeah. So it just allowed us to collect payment more fluidly, do inventory based off because they would do we would get a printout of the amount of meals we're getting and stuff like that. So we were able to project, do inventory, order our order from our food purveyor and everything, have it there, and it was tangible because it's all being collected electronically. And like you said, the price point alone, just to have a website or something like that build is astronomical for a small business.
Yeah.
So we looked around, there wasn't a lot out there, because again, we started off new in the game. Now we come along, there's multiple meal prep companies or software companies out there that weren't around in 2014. So
I'm curious, if you're driving a 6-speed manual car,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if our current day and time is 6 gear, what gear were you in when you shifted into these softwares?
Oh, wow. I don't. So you're saying, did it speed up?
Cooking for your friends was first gear.
Oh yeah.
Second gear was finding you getting a commissary. Third gear was, what I'm saying? What were the different gears in your business that help you go up a different level. Like the
Oh
evolution.
yeah. I mean, when we just adding the customer service aspect of it.
When did that come into it?
Yeah, that came in probably when I stopped taking calls. It was probably after about year 1. I still took some, but I had someone there on the phones to do that. It just becomes, and I hear. And I've heard this from your podcast, is like you can't, you got to work on your business, not in your business, if you want it to grow. For anybody in a business setting, a lot of people micromanage their business into the ground, and I think a lot of people get caught up in the profit margin side of things, like they want to make the most money.
Yeah.
But are you really delivering the best product because you got your hands on everything and you're basically strung out across work and you can't do it all?
Yeah. So in the meal prep world, the working on your business is, or making that shift starts for you. It started with getting to the point where you're no longer taking the orders. You're creating a system for somebody else to do that. But even beyond that now, if it's, if we're fast forwarding in time, you can automate that with technology.
Yeah. Technology is your friend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that, like you said, switching gears, like, we started off in first gear, me doing everything, brought on staff, moved to second gear, got a facility, moved to third, moved to fourth gear, got some customer service. My wife came over full time. Got a bigger facility, still doing stuff manually. I'd say that's like in between fourth to fifth gear. And then, started the online stuff, and it was like sixth gear and we're rolling. Yeah. Then like we hit overdrive, the better we got, because like the software got better and things of that nature, and our systems in-house, our systematic approach to what we do. And so maybe I don't know how many gears I got on this car, but I'd say we probably just recently switched.
You're in a Ferrari now.
Yeah, we're out of there. We're just 12 gears.
Big Mac,
we're just out of here.
Big Mac has a bunch of gears.
And
how many gears do you need?
Just as many as you want. So just recently we implemented Slack.
Okay.
Great communication tool, because we have so many moving pieces.
Yeah.
And we did like an assessment in our business. And I think, for anybody that, and we use someone here local, but we just assessed our business through our staff's eyes. What could we do better? And communication was the biggest hang up, or communication amongst one another. And you think, oh, you're small business, 15 full-time employees, another, 10 part-time employees. Like, how much communication could there be? A ton. When we're producing all this food and everything we do, and the people we work with and the different menu options we offer, like we have to communicate a lot of information, because people have preferences, allergies, things of that nature. So we just recently implemented that, and it's been great. It's been really great. So we're always looking on how to be better. We're always looking for the next tool, the nuance that's going to make us be more fluid, because anybody that's listened to it, in the food service industry, your margins are lean.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're doing. If you're selling $250 steaks or you're selling $2 tacos, like you got a certain margin you got to meet. And if you slip up in any way, in any portion of that, whether it's labor cost, cost of food, or cost of goods, or or anything in between, like you're going to hurt yourself, and you're not going to make it. So I think the systems really are beneficial in that accord.
Going way back to that other question I asked, where I did the role reversal. You're in my seat. You get to talk to somebody who's been in the meal prep game for a while. Don't worry about that. What questions are you asking you? Like, one, how do you collect payment? What's another question you wish you had the answer to when you're getting started?
Oh my gosh. I got a question right now. Anybody out there, let me know. Like, how do you keep drivers? Like, drivers is our Achilles heel. Logistics can be tough. That's kind of our, and this isn't a plug on the customer service staff of the restaurant industry, but there are waiters and waitresses of our meal prep.
We're starting, and this is a little plug right here. We're in the process of doing a native delivery course. I'm collaborating with Figure 8 Logistics. I could actually connect you with Figure 8 Logistics. I know it's the restaurant industry versus meal prep, but I'm sure there's some overlay there. Yeah,
they and I've talked to some people in that space, but they do it like on a per order, and we're not that. We do a route.
Yeah.
So we run a route out, Again, here's a question I'd ask, and again, I don't know. It's like, how many routes are on a stop for this? Like, how many stops do you put on your route?
What are the limiting factors? Like, how long can you keep the food cold, right?
Exactly.
So that's the question is, we have X amount of time to get. So how much time does it take to hit these different spots? Can we get it all in? So
you got
that's your governor.
Yeah, exactly. So you got a certain window, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like, what's your window? Like, and I knew, when's a route too much?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When's a route too little?
When you exceed the window.
Do you charge for delivery fee? Do you charge for bag fee?
Do you?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a delivery fee.
So what is your delivery fee? How do you figure that out?
It's based on radius.
Okay.
So we go $350, $5, and $750, and $10.
$350, $5,
$750, $10.
Based off of distance.
The
from
distance from us. Yeah,
commissary.
exactly.
Okay.
From the production facility. So and we operate out of a 2,700 square foot production.
So
facility.
what were those questions? Do you charge for delivery? What were the other questions you asked?
You charge for delivery. How big's the route? How big do you make a route? Where do you get your bags from? Where do you get products? What type of containers do you use?
So where do you get your products from?
We use a local food purveyor. We use Cheney.
Okay.
We've been with Cheney for a few years. We've tried some others.
So you don't go to Walmart anymore?
Oh, no, sir. People still ask that. People are like, oh, so you and your wife cook all this? I'm like, nope. You guys get this from Sam's? I'm like, no, can't do that.
So you use the same thing, a distributor, but just dry goods.
Yeah. So we bring in a lot, we try to bring in as much fresh product as possible, and they do that for us. They fill slots for us in their warehouse just for that. So we're super thankful for them. It's been a great relationship over the years. Like I said, I tried some other food purveyors, but Cheney's been a great fit for us across the board.
So reflecting back, anything that you wish you did differently?
Anything I wish I would have did differently. I would say
maybe a change you made in your business that you wish you made that change earlier.
Let's see, a change that I would have made earlier. Oh, man, I don't know, man, because I feel like everything happened for a reason. Like, I think everything is critical in the path of growth.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't have those experiences, those trials and tribulations, would I be who I am today? And that kind of goes back to my story that I started off with. Like, there's a lot of lesson in that. And I think it's a lot of confidence builder that if I would have had somebody tell me, or I would have, again, I kind of cheat coded it, would I be the same? Would I be better? Or are we better because we worked through it and we got stronger and we fell down and we scraped our knee and we got back up? And, I think the thing that jumps out most to me is I think I wish there was somebody to teach us about the margins and how to watch them. We actually brought someone in, this gentleman by the name of Steve Wood, and he did a whole analysis for us, and he saved us.
What were the biggest lessons he taught you?
Just about the percentages and how to move thing around, and cash flow and all that. Because and I get this call from people, and I'm always happy to talk to them and share it with them now, because like we were on the business treadmill. Like, we were making money and money was coming through, but it's like, where's it all at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I talk about, those margins. They're so lean, and if you don't manage them and you don't check the temperature of what you're doing every single week, or every couple days, like, you're going to get jammed up. If your labor is too high, or your food cost is too high, or whatever the case may be, if you don't catch it in time, you're going to figure it out too late, and you're going to be way jammed up.
So this consultant, Mr. Wood,
Steve Wood,
Steve Wood, when he comes into your business, don't tell me so much about where your business was, but what things does your business have today that didn't have then, that are having huge impacts on your profitability?
Oh, we just have we have a whole spreadsheet of analytical data that we enter in on a weekly basis. And again, this is my wife's lane, so I'm not gonna get into that space. I'm just I know about it, but I'm not gonna split the hairs with you, because that's not my space.
Let's get into marketing then.
Please do. Let's talk.
I know your lane is marketing. What else is it?
Yeah, marketing, outreach, relationships, networking.
Okay.
Things like that.
So talk to us. How are you? What do you think is the best way to promote your business?
Oh, I think the best way to promote your business is social media.
Okay.
Get out there. Get seen, be seen. People don't realize there's a lot of business I talk to that don't even utilize social media. And I'm like, what are you doing? Or I'll ask them like, hey, what's your Instagram? They're like, oh, I don't mess with that. I'm like, what? Like, it's 2021. What do you mean you don't have an Instagram? Like, I got to understand if you're like over 40 or 35 and you're like, I don't do TikTok or Snapchat. Like, I get it. But like, if you're not on Instagram or you don't do Facebook, like, what are you doing with your life right now?
So what has had the best return on investment for your effort when it comes to marketing and promoting what you're doing?
I think the best return has, again, I go to Instagram because Instagram kind of came out when I was rolling out. And letting, and the key and what people don't realize about social media allows, because I go back to, like, I don't have a restaurant where people can come in and I can shake their hand and give them a dessert and talk to them and, meet little Johnny and, all that stuff. I don't have that experience. So I have to connect with my client base and potential client base through social media. So what I do is, I introduce them to me, to my life, to my family. And again, it's not for everybody, and everybody's
different.
What do you
mean you introduce them to your life? Do you just
I just show them. On my business page, I'll put in little family stuff, or I'll, stuff with my wife, kids, the charity work I do, different things like that, because that's who I'm interested in doing business with. I'm interested in doing business with like-minded people that are, have a little bit of charity and love in their heart and care about community. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but I want to connect with my people. You know what I mean? Because I think that's key at the end of the day is the synchronicity and the synergy of life is just putting out the vibe, and God will put you with who you need to be with. But if you don't put it out there, like, they'll never find you.
Yeah, and that's a big lesson I've learned. You can't expect people to give you what you need unless you tell them what you need. Yeah. You don't need to but just put it out. Like, you don't have to talk to anybody directly. Just put a message out.
Yeah.
And speak openly, you know?
I'm going to put it out for Eric real quick. He's looking for an assistant, a videographer. Yeah, right. You guys apply at
if anybody wants to drive around
Instagram,
the country
and drive around the country. I'm plugging him right now. He needs it. I'm putting it out because he said it.
Yeah, and it's true, though. If anybody's interested in driving around the country and just maybe you have a marketing or like a social media or a media company that you want to work with restaurants, like, I can help put you in front of some people. We were talking about it before this.
Let's
Thank you for calling me.
Yes, I am. I'm good. That's what I'm here for. That's what we're about.
Email me, Eric at Restaurant Unstoppable. Eat well.
Good. Yeah, he's looking for a Robin the Batman. He said you do have to wear a leotard, but you get paid
with an occasional free meal in my company.
There you go. He's got he's debonair too. You'll enjoy the company, I'm sure. But so yeah, like the marketing and outreach and doing stuff and give. I believe in it. I love it. I love to do it. And I think people question it sometimes, like, oh, you're doing that, or what for what?
What are you giving?
Whatever I can. Whatever's on my heart, whatever God puts on my heart is what I do. I don't question it. People question it a lot and be like, why? I don't know. It's just because it felt right. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of work in the not-for-profit space. We kind of didn't get into that, and I know we're on a time schedule, but like, through my outreach and marketing and Google and doing everything that I do, like I connected with, I started working with professional athletes about 2 years in the business, about 2016. Jay Ajayi. Used to be with the Miami Dolphins. He actually won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, a running back. Started working with him.
So how'd you land him as a client?
They found me on Google, on the internet. Yeah. Meal prep company, Southeast Florida. They hit me up.
I do find it hilarious.
It's crazy because
some of these athletes that have the beautiful homes and beautiful kitchens, and like, they don't use them.
Here's the great part about it, right? Just putting yourself out there, being proactive as far as marketing, right? So I got the website, all that stuff, like you said, like making myself more fluid and reachable and so people can reach me. Yeah. So the gentleman that reached out to me, Max Lepsetter, big shout out to Max Management, great dude, still talk to him. So he connected. He sent me. He wanted to send some meals to the guy he was working with. Possibly working together, brought some meals to the guy, never heard from him, drove an hour and a half to deliver the food, whatever, never heard from him, just is what it is. From that, my name made it to, from Max to this guy, Josh in California. Josh made it to this lady in Texas. The lady in Texas was Jay Ajayi's agent, Jacqueline Dahl, who is now currently the agent for Patrick Mahomes. Some people may know him or not. He's a pretty good football player. Yeah. So Jacqueline was Jay's agent at the time. He was with the Dolphins. She reached out to me, and all because I was willing to take a call, talk to Max, and here we go. Yeah. Gets the ball rolling and connected with Jay, and then I started working with Marquise Gray was my second player. He was with the Dolphins, tight end, great guy. And then I started working with Kenny Stills. Kenny's my guy. If I could say anybody, talked to him the other day, but he changed my business.
How?
He changed my business. He just put me in front of a lot of people, man. He's a
Okay.
good soul, good people. Did some charity work with him, different things like that. Very community minded. Just connected with him on just the whole synergy was good. Did a lot of stuff with him. Did some camps and some paintball events and different stuff. He's just that dude, just good people. And he put me in front of a lot of people, and the ball started rolling from there. I connected with the Dolphins nutritionist staff, the Miami Dolphins, and then it's just been up from there. We've worked with I honestly don't know off the top of my head how many athletes we fed over the last. So this is I guess going on. So it was like 2016. So like 5 years or so, somewhere around 4.5, 5 years, and the list is long.
So what I'm hearing from you is it's almost like a hybrid kind of like influencer marketing, where you're associating yourself with these successful brands and networking throughout those networks of athletes with word of mouth. So you tap into a market basically, and I don't want to put word why did it work? Why did it work?
Because God made it work. I'm almost going to revert back to that. God made it possible. I just showed up.
Yeah.
I started showing up, being places, got invited to different places, doing events, and just made relationships with people, and started.
What advice do you have for making a relationship with somebody?
Show up. People always want something, but they don't want to do nothing. They show up. Somebody's having a party, having an event, doing something. Show up. Show some support. Give back. Do something. It's not all take. You're looking to take and make money. How about you give something? How about you offer to donate? How about you, anything? Volunteer. Show up. And be that. And everybody's worried about the bottom line. I'm worried about building friendships and relationships. Yeah. I always say my network is far more valuable than my net worth to me.
Yes.
Because I have formed relationships with people that are, years in the making, and guys I know getting married, having babies, and it's all through business. I didn't know them from any other time. It's just strictly business relationships, but I do my best to reach out on birthdays and holidays, or, special times where a memory might pop up on my timeline. I try to stay connected.
Yeah. And there's a reason why Show Up is it's a little Restaurant Unstoppable network plug here. It's one of our core values is to show up.
Yeah.
Because you don't get what you can. You got to show up to the events. You got to show up to the. I'm getting people like you, my guests, into the network to do pure mentoring. But you're not going to get the value from anything if you don't show up. You got to show up, and when you show up, the universe starts to repay you. And I think. To compound off that, just me being willing to drive across the country and to show up in a community. When I show up, things just start to happen. People what you said, so-and-so knows so-and-so, then that person knows this person.
Yeah.
And people
we had that talk before we got started,
people
right?
just show up for you when you show up for them. And you show up on their front doorstep, they will show up for you.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because that's you're a part of my story. When I and people listening in, so I'm based in Port St. Lucie, so I'm an hour and a half north of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I have a large client base in Fort Lauderdale, Florida that I drive an hour and a half to deliver food to twice a week. And I started off doing it myself, and I used to listen to Restaurant Unstoppable on my drives. That is a shameless plug. And I felt like I knew you before you walked in the door, and I thought that was cool. You know what I mean? And that's just it. And people aren't. And we kind of talked about this before we got started. People aren't willing to do the stuff that it takes, because when people start seeing you show up and go the extra mile and willing to go to any length to do what you do, they're like, oh, you're legit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're legit. You're the real deal. Because there's a lot there. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors that go on, and don't believe. I can tell everybody, don't believe everything you see on social media. There's just a lot that goes on in the industry. And I'll just, kind of speak to meal prep in that accord, but there's just a lot of smoke and mirrors and stuff that goes on that I know. And I'm not trying to be the whistleblower or anything like that, but I try to tell everyone, just do your research, look in, make sure you're getting what you're paying for. And I've just heard a lot of horror stories. And the sad part about it is that it affects the industry as a whole, because they leave a bad taste for the word meal prep.
Yeah.
And then then people become gun shy of the meal prep industry, which is so new and kind of came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. So if someone's never experienced meal prep and they have a super bad experience, and you say, oh, and meal prep, kind of oh no, oh yeah, I dealt with so and so. I'm like, no, it's not, and I got to talk them off the ledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have a good experience, so I think that's crucial. You know what I mean? Is being a good representation of your industry,
Integrity.
and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got 13 minutes left. I know you have a hard stop.
13.
And I want to leave room for the speed round. But before we get to the speed round, I want to give you the question I give all my guests before going to the speed round.
Let's go.
The mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry. I think if we can transform the industry, we can transform the world. This industry, the food and beverage industry, touches so many lives. So how have you transformed? Who are you today versus the man you were when you were getting started in this industry?
Wow. Man, I've grown up more, you know. It's caused me to grow. It caused me to this industry has helped me to really pursue my passion, my labor of love, which is service. My network and the people that I've come in contact with, especially, you know, and I'll speak to the professional sports industry. It allows me to network and bring people together that wouldn't normally mix. And allow people to have life experiences, and that's the biggest joy for me. And I'm able to give back. I'm able to give back to people in need. I think that's something special to me as well. We do some work here in the foster care space here on the Treasure Coast. We do some work with 4Kids, CC Kids, and again, like I said previously, I sit on the board of the Albert Wilson Foundation. So my whole slogan that I kind of stand behind is our community, our kids. And, you know,
it takes a village.
Yeah. And they are our future. So we're very much responsible I feel responsible as a business owner. And there's a lot of people in need. There's a lot of people that go hungry tonight with no food.
Yeah.
And they're little kids.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And we do our very best to give away as much as we can afford to give away. Yeah. And sometimes to a fault, but it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Great message.
At the end of the day, it's like I just want to show up. When I show up on the final roll call, I know that I gave it all of everything I had to make someone's life a little bit better.
We are back, and your first question is: what is your it factor? A habit, a trait, a characteristic you believe most contributes to your success?
Always showing up, never giving up, and just grinding.
Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
Let's run it.
What is your biggest weakness?
Oh, biggest weakness. I'm just a big softy, you know. I don't consider it a weakness, but like anybody that needs help and it's to a fault sometimes. But like I'm trying to give.
What is one question you ask or thing you look for when you're growing your team?
What's your dream?
What is your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge is I would say cultivating a brand that could be here to leave a legacy.
And how are you dealing with that?
We're constantly evolving and trying to put people in place and continually educating ourselves to be better.
Okay. Share one code of conduct or behavior you teach your team. Show up.
I am responsible, and quality matters through it all. Like, you know, the end game, we don't get a chance to walk up to the table. So the consistency of what we do is
accountability.
Key. Yeah.
I love it. What is one uncommon standard of service you teach your team? So this is something that's common within the four walls of your operation, but not common throughout the rest of the food prep industry.
Can you re-ask the question?
What is something that's like a way that you go above and beyond for service? So something that's common within the four walls of your operation, but not common throughout the meal prep industry.
We go to any length to correct an issue, whether it's driving an hour and a half to drop off one meal, 2 meals, we'll do it.
I love it. What is one book that's a must read to make us a better person or business owner?
Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins.
I love it. What is one thing you feel restaurateurs don't do well enough or often enough, and in your case, meal prep services?
They don't engage their customer base enough. They don't stay in touch with them. They don't ask them how they could be better and serve, because like people get their feelings hurt. You know, I want people to coach us and make us better and critique us and listen.
Great stuff. Name one service you've hired or outsourced to. So this is somebody who does something better than you, so you've outsourced that to get it out of house.
My videography and photography. Second Mile Media, best in the game.
Second Mile Media
is going down. Find him on Instagram. Plug in with my guy, Chance the Shooter. Tell him Tiger sent you.
Throw your face in front of that camera.
Look at him. He's handsome.
There he is.
He's taken,
There he
ladies. He's taken.
What is one piece of technology you've adopted within your operation? We already kind of talked about this a little bit.
Slack. Everyone's got a phone in their hand, and we use Route Savvy too. It's another great app. Right. That's something too. See,
Route Savvy, beautiful.
Yeah, Route Savvy, Slack.
What is Route Savvy?
Route Savvy helps you just logistically plan your routes, stops, all that stuff, just calculated. You're able to put the location in, all that stuff. It's just something we used to do manually, do Google Maps and plot. Again, little time savers, and my mind's kind of that's how my mind works, as you tell when you ask questions.
I feel like that could be used in any delivery. So even if the restaurant, if you're doing in-house delivery, and you have like a bunch of deliveries,
you got five, if you got anything over 5 deliveries, plug it in the Route Savvy. It's quick.
Yeah.
And it's something accessible, and you can actually send the routes to their phones and all kinds of stuff.
I love it. Awesome. Especially with the new direction. I think there's going to be a lot more delivery, a lot more people ordering from home. With COVID-19, I think that's going to be a change. Yeah. I think that things are going to go back to where people want to be in store, in restaurant, because we miss being shoulder to shoulder. We miss the social aspect of dining out. But more people are now comfortable with ordering out. So using some of these tools that exist for delivery, huge. And I think you're going to see a surge in meal prep too, honestly. Yeah.
And we're here, you know what I mean? And if anybody listening is in the meal prep industry, please feel free to reach out to me directly. Yeah. I'm I know me and Eric were kind of all over the place through the conversation, and that's how my brain's kind of like a ping pong. But like any questions that I can't answer, my wife can, and I just like to keep it 100 with people. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you I know every piece of it, because I can't be the best at what I do if I'm boiling water and also charging all the credit cards and all that stuff.
Truth there. This is the last question. Are you ready for it?
Yes, sir.
If you got the news, you'd be leaving this world tomorrow. All the memories of you, your work, and your businesses would be lost with your departure, with the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom you could leave behind for the good of humanity and for your legacy. What would they be?
3
pieces of wisdom.
3 pieces of wisdom. Be there with your kids.
1.
Take time to build relationships with people.
2.
And always tell people you love them, because you never know when you're going to see them again.
So what's that Kanye West quote? Sometimes people get the flowers before it's.
Yeah, you got to give them the roses while they can still smell them. I live by that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've loved today's conversation. Thank you so much. We wrap up every chat by calling somebody out. Who's somebody you respect and admire? Maybe it's in the restaurant industry. Maybe it's in the meal prep industry. Somebody that if you knew they were a guest on my show tomorrow, you'd be tuning in.
Ooh, calling somebody out in the restaurant game. Oh man, I got to go back to one of the original OGs hustlers in Hollywood, Florida. John, he owns Sunny Steak Hoagies. Got it from his dad. I think they've been in business, I want to say it's got to be close to 100 years. Wow. Right there by my mom's house. I grew up in Hollywood, Florida. He's still there, still doing his thing. He's been on a couple food shows.
Nice.
Just a food entrepreneur that I just respect his hustle, because he's still doing the same thing, still moving quality product. Can I give another one too?
Yeah,
can I give
as
2?
many as you want.
Oh, I gotta shout out my cousin, brother, and friend Danny Adkins, Moon Swiner's Barbecue in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Okay.
Another guy killing the game, family business, great product, turn and burn barbecue, but like just awesome.
Drop those 2 names on me one more time.
Danny Adkins and John. Oh, John's last name slips me. I apologize.
Danny
but I will
and John, we're coming at you.
Yeah, Sunny Steak Hoagies in Florida and Moon Swiner's Barbecue in Fort Pierce, Florida.
I'd love to get you guys on the show. And how can we connect with you if we have questions about meal prep or meal kit delivery? Not kit, not meal. Prep. Jesus,
he's nervous, guys. It's okay. Just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
What is the
meal plan? Meal prep delivery. Meal. So
many options.
There's just so many nuances to this industry we're in. So you can always find us online at Fixins. That's FITFIXINS.net. You can find us on Instagram under Fixins, FITFIXINS. We are on Facebook. You can call us directly at 772-519-1271 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. 7 days a week. So I'll be more than happy to take your call. If you want to send us an email and contact myself for any questions, anything you want to talk about, you can always email us info at Fixins. Again, that's FITFIXINS.net. You can catch us there, or I am on Instagram. I run it. Send me a direct message. Hit me up. I'm just always on the move and totally approachable. Any meal prep business, anything you want to know, I'm an open book pretty much. I mean, again, I got a couple closed topics that I'll only talk about face to face. But if you think you want to know that much about me, then let's link and talk about it.
So, you did agree to come join us in Restaurant Unstoppable Network, and you're going to be doing a Q&A a week to 2 weeks after this episode goes live. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode and you want to connect directly with the man, make sure you get in the network and you join, and we'll do a live Q&A with our guest today, Clyde Tiger. Thank you so much, Clyde. There is no questioning. You are unstoppable.